So, what if I told you that the key to being wildly successful at work isn't about fixing your weaknesses? What if it's actually about doubling down on the things you're already amazing at? It's a pretty simple idea, right? But as we're going to see, the business case for focusing on strengths is, well, it's incredibly powerful. Let's just jump right in with a question that might shake things up a bit. We all hear about great companies all the time, right? The ones that are amazing places to work. But what if that whole idea is just a myth, a fiction that's actually distracting us from what really makes a difference? Here's the big idea. There are no great companies. Nope, there are only great teams and, not so great teams. Think about it. If you're stuck on a struggling team inside a supposedly great company, your experience isn't great at all, is it? The reality of your immediate team, that trumps everything else. So, how do we know this is true? Well, researchers went into all sorts of companies and studied their best teams right alongside their worst. And every single time, they found this massive range of performance between teams that are all working under the exact same corporate banner. Let's look at a couple of examples. All right, first up, a big retailer. They had a really logical business model. They figured, hey, the more money people have in a community, the more profit that local store should make. That makes perfect sense, right? If you put that on a graph, it should be a nice, clean, predictable line going up. But when they actually plotted the real-world data, they didn't get that neat line. They got this, a giant scatter plot. I mean, look at the variance here. You've got stores in wealthy areas way down here making way less than predicted. And then, right above them, you've got other stores in similar areas just crushing it, making way more. These are teams of about 100 people, all working for the same company, but they're living in completely different realities. And this just nails the point home. The store at the bottom and the store at the top, it's not just about different numbers on a spreadsheet. They feel completely different, both to the people working there every day and to the customers who walk in the door. So what in the world is going on inside that top-performing store? Okay, let's switch gears and check out another example to see how this builds. This one's from a big car company. Their whole brand promise isn't just about making great cars, it's about the legendary service you get from the people at their dealerships. And that promise, it completely depends on keeping great employees around. Now just look at this. It's shocking. The top 10% of their dealership teams lost only 42 people in 1 year. But the bottom 10%, they lost a staggering 847. Remember, this is the same company. Same cars, same pay, same training programs, same everything. Let's just sit with that number for a second. 847 people. That's not just a statistic. That is an organization just bleeding its most valuable asset. It's a revolving door of talent. What could possibly create such a gigantic gap in performance between two teams in the same company? Well, it turns out, after studying thousands and thousands of teams just like these, the researchers found that one single question consistently predicts whether you're on a high-performing team or a low-performing one. This is it. This is the whole ballgame. At work, do you have an opportunity to do what you do best every day? It's not about your pay or your benefits or the company's grand mission statement. It all boils down to whether you, as an individual, feel like your unique talents are actually being used. And the ripple effect is just staggering. Teams where people can strongly agree with this statement are more profitable, they're more productive, and people stick around way longer. They even have fewer accidents on the job and less theft. Seriously, almost any positive business outcome you can think of is tied to this one simple feeling. So if this is the secret sauce, if it's this powerful, why isn't every single manager, every company completely obsessed with it? Well, the answer lies in this really deep-seated belief that most of us have. A belief that kind of holds us all back.
So researchers ask people a pretty simple question. To be successful in life, should you build on your strengths or fix your weaknesses? Now, in the US, which is actually the most strengths-focused country they polled, a majority, 59%, still said that success comes from fixing what's wrong with you.
And here's the real kicker. They first did that poll way back around the year 2000. And when they did it again recently, after 2 decades of massive societal change, you know what the result was? Exactly the same, 59%. The belief just hasn't budged. We are basically programmed to live in a remedial world. And you see this play out at work every single day. When people are asked what they actually talk about with their manager, the most common answer is their weaknesses. A huge chunk don't talk about their performance at all, and less than a quarter of people say they ever actually discuss their strengths. It's crazy. So how do we break this cycle? What do? We can't just sit around waiting for our companies to change. The data actually suggests the most powerful place to start isn't with the company, it's with you.
Now, a really common excuse is, oh, sure, that's great, but I can't use my strengths in my current job. I need to find that perfect role first. But you know what? The data just doesn't back that up. Most people, when you ask them why they took their current job, say it was for an opportunity to do more of what they actually enjoy doing.
And here's the proof right here. When you ask people how often they get so focused on what they're doing that they completely lose track of time, a massive 73% of people say that happens to them at least once a week. The opportunity isn't in some job down the road. It's right here, right now.
So the takeaway is pretty clear. You probably don't need a new job. You just need a new approach. And it's a simple 3-step process. First, just identify what activities put you in that flow state. Second, start to gradually, little by little, push your work towards those activities. And third, you got to talk about it. Persuasively explain to people how doing more of this stuff actually helps the team win.
All right, let's bring this all together. We started by questioning this whole idea of a great company. And what we found is that performance really lives and dies at the team level. So what is a great company then? It's not some top-down culture or a fancy logo. A truly great company is just an accumulation of a bunch of fantastically great teams. That's the real definition, right there.
And what builds those great teams? It's individuals. It's people who stop waiting for the perfect job to fall into their lap and instead decide to take their own strengths seriously. People who actively figure out how to contribute their best right where they are, right now.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Forget about some total career reinvention. Think smaller. What is one thing, just one, that you can do this week to shift your work just 10% more towards those activities that really light you up and engage your strengths? Because that small change, that could be the start of everything.
Thank you for watching the video. If you like the content we make, press like and subscribe to our channel.